885, just a 1-minute backup.
All right, thank you, Brian. We're tracking a big day in politics here in North Carolina, including a visit from the president and the first lady. At the same time, top GOP presidential candidates will also be here today and tomorrow. North Carolina remains a key battleground state for the upcoming 2024 election, and the visits come just hours after new historic indictments were handed down to former President Donald Trump this morning. As he prepares to visit Greensboro, the former president is also preparing to face this new round of legal trouble.
President Biden will likely face questions about what he thinks of Trump's indictment today when he visits North Carolina. He and the First Lady will arrive in Goldsboro around 11:30 this morning. They will tour Nash Community College at 1 over in Rocky Mount and then head to Fort Liberty around 3:30 for a big announcement. WRAL's Monica Casey joins us live from Fort Liberty with what we know about his trip. Monica.
Good morning. The president and first lady will be announcing a new executive order here today. It focuses on helping military families and spouses with their well-being and their economic security. This has been in the works for more than a year. The overall focus is the hiring and retention of military family and spouses in the federal government workforce. The Joining Forces initiative also wants to help military spouses obtain jobs outside the federal government and more access to child care. The executive order calls for a strategic plan and government-wide standards for more accessible remote work options. Dr. Jill Biden says this is a matter of national security. The First Lady says they can't ask service members to choose between love of country and love of family. Now, the Bidens will be announcing this executive order here at Fort Liberty because of the large number of military families and spouses in this area. Drivers here, along with Rocky Mount and in Goldsboro, should be aware of increased traffic as the Bidens travel through our area. Monica Casey, WRAL News at Fort Liberty.
Also, 3 big names in the race for the Republican presidential nomination are headed to Greensboro. Former President Trump, former Vice President Mike Pence, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis plan to speak at the North Carolina GOP convention. It's the first time all 3 men will be in the same place as candidates, and experts say it shows just how important our state is for presidential candidates to test their message with voters. Ron DeSantis will be on stage tonight. WRAL's NC Capitol reporter Will Doran says Trump's indictment could come up in a speech.
You know, he sees his path to the nomination as convincing Trump supporters to move to his camp. So, you know, I don't know what he's going to say about this. You know, he'll probably reference it somehow, but, you know, you got to kind of be careful not to be too critical. And, you know, you don't want to turn off the people who you want to come and vote for you.
As for Pence and Trump, they're slated to speak at the state GOP convention tomorrow. WRAL has teams of reporters covering every angle of both the Republican convention in Greensboro and President Biden's visit this weekend. You can track our full coverage on air on WRAL.com and on the WRAL News app.
And now to that historic indictment against former President Donald Trump. Officials revealed overnight the Justice Department is moving extra resources to Miami, Florida, where Trump is expected to appear in court on Tuesday on 7 federal charges. Republican officials here in North Carolina say Trump is still planning to speak at the GOP convention in Greensboro tomorrow, and federal prosecutors are still quiet this morning, refusing to officially confirm the indictment themselves. Trump's lawyer spoke to CNN late last night, saying the former president faces a charge under the Espionage Act, as well as obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and false statement charges. He says Trump will appear in court.
There's not going to be an arrest. This is coming in on a summons. That was appropriate. This is not somebody who's going to flee. This is not somebody that poses a danger to the community, which are the factors that you would normally consider when you're talking about release. We'll go through the bureaucratic process we have to on Tuesday.
Very sadly,
And Trump himself shared this video last night denying any wrongdoing. The charges stem from his handling of hundreds of classified documents found at his Florida estate.
This morning, National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump will join the family of Darrell Williams, who died after a confrontation with Raleigh police. They will respond to the autopsy findings released 2 days ago. The autopsy determined that Williams' death was a homicide.